guys, welcome to Classic Sitcoms, Facts, and Trivia. Appreciate you being here. Before we get started, please subscribe. Thank you. Please share these out with your family and friends if they're into classic sitcoms or classic TV. Today's video is a then and now segment, such as the child stars of the 60s, from then and now. I always found these fascinating, so let's take a look. Some Hollywood stars struggled for years to make the A-list. However, this was not the case for 60s teen sensation Hayley Mills. Mills burst onto the scene at 13 by winning the BAFTA for most promising newcomer for first ever film role in a British crime drama, Tiger Bay, in 1959. She followed that up in a quick succession by winning the last ever Juvenile Academy Award for Pollyanna in 60. And then she starred as two identical twins in the iconic original version of The Parent Trap in 1961. Now, although she never again hit the box office heights of her childhood, she had a successful career, both on the stage and the small screen. In the late 80s, you'll remember her as the first teacher that had to deal with Zach Morris, having portrayed Miss Bliss in the show that turned into Saved by the Bell. Most recently, she featured in a British miniseries, Pitching In and Compulsion, as well as the film Last Train to Christmas in 2021. She also beat breast cancer and is currently dating a man 12 years her junior. MarkPage, I'm pronouncing that right. This child star came in an instant hit when the sitcom Julia premiered in '68. Julia was groundbreaking, and it was the first weekly TV series to portray an African-American woman as a professional, rather than in the stereotypical housekeeper role. Additionally, Mark wooed America as Julia's adorable son, Corey. He became so famous that Michael Jackson was soon asking for his autograph. He also nearly fell off stage at the NAACP Image Awards trying to escape a kiss from Diana Ross. After this initial flash of fame, he decided that the acting life wasn't for him, and he went back to school to become a jazz musician. However, he still occasionally acts, and most recently appeared in 2018's The Meg. These days, he supports his love for jazz by working as a leasing agent and assistant manager on an apartment complex, and is perfectly happy the limelight passed him by. Erin Murphy. America fell in love with her, watching the adorable little girl portray the eldest child on the hit sitcom Bewitched. Murphy's character Tabitha inherited her mother's powers and often contributed to the show's hilarious hijinks with a twig shove her nose. After Bewitched was canceled in '72, she appeared as a guest star on Lassie and in 100 commercials, but never really gained traction as an actress. And although she still sporadically appears in such reality TV shows as Hulk Hogan's Celebrity Championship Wrestling, Murphy these days has turned her attention to the world of business. She has co-owned Slim Chillers, a company that makes diet vodka popsicles, since 2014, and also runs Erin Murphy's Knits, which hand makes eco-friendly alpaca hair clothes. In 2018, she purchased her dream home in Malibu for $2.8 million. Yeah, dream home. Big dream. Jay North. As the character Dennis the Menace, Jay North became one of the 60s biggest child stars by terrorizing his neighborhood. After Dennis, North struggled to make it as an actor. The public just couldn't separate him in their minds from the original Dennis the Menace role. However, North did get some voice work in Pebbles and Bam Bam Show, and starred in the teen exploitation movie The Teacher in '74. Yet he quickly became disillusioned with Hollywood and basically stopped acting altogether. Since the mid-'80s, his only credits have been as himself, both on an episode of The Simpsons and in Dickie Roberts' former child star. After the suicide of a friend and fellow child star Rusty Hamer, North opened up about the abuse he received on the sets of Dennis the Menace by his aunt, who was his guardian there, and now is part of the organization. A minor consideration where he helps counsel child stars dealing with the same pressure and problems he faced growing up. Lisa Loring. She crept her way into America's hearts as the hair-raising pigtailed Wednesday Addams in the hit sitcom The Addams Family. Show made Loring one of the most famous kids in the country, but fame rarely leads to happiness. By the age of 16, Loring was a divorced single mother whose own mother had recently died from intense alcoholism. On top of that, she was struggling to find acting work. She did have a brief comeback in the early 80s, appearing for 3 years on the daytime soap opera As the World Turns. But after that, the acting jobs completely dried up. Then in the late 80s, she married porn star Jerry Butler, a stormy relationship that led her to become completely dependent on heroin. Fortunately, this story has a happy ending, as Loring, not wanting to end up like her mother, got clean and now works in public relations for a hotel chain. She also occasionally tours the country, going to Addams Family conventions, and is still mobbed by adoring fans all these years later. Angela Cartwright shot to fame in the late 1950s, starring on The Danny Thomas Show, but it was her work in the 60s that truly made her a child star, when she played Penny Robinson in the iconic sci-fi series Lost in Space, and was the Von Trapp's bookish middle child in The Sound of Music. After her immense childhood success, she still periodically acted. She appeared in the 70s film Beyond Poseidon Adventure, and more recently featured in animated movies The Bolt, Who's Crude Christmas, and Elf Sparkle and the Red Dress. However, she focused most of her energy on her first love, photography, and currently has her own studio in L.A. She's been happily married for 40 years. Butch Patrick. Who could ever forget little Eddie Munster, the werewolf child on the Munsters, played by the equally adorable Butch Patrick. Patrick, because of his diminutive size compared to that of his on-screen father, Herman Munster, Patrick used the show as a springboard to become one of the biggest child stars of the 60s. After the Munsters ended, Patrick continued to have success as an actor. He appeared in the movie The Phantom Toll Booth, and the utterly bizarre kids' TV program Lidsville, about a magical world populated by giant talking hats. However, at the age of 19, he decided that Hollywood wasn't for him, stopped acting to, as he puts it, drive fast cars and focus on surfing. He also formed a band in the 80s, Eddie and the Munsters, which became one of the first unsigned bands to have video play on the fledgling channel MTV in 1983. He has since returned to acting, but you can be forgiven for not realizing it, as his most recent roles have come in such famous movies as Bite School and Zombie Dream. Patrick is also happily 10 years sober after falling into that classic child actor trope, struggling with addiction to drugs and alcohol for 40 years. Congratulations to him. And these are some of the 60s sitcom child stars and what they're doing now. Hope you enjoyed this. That thing on Wednesday Addams blew my mind, because I had no idea she went through all that. And thank God she come out of it the way she did. Just goes to show, anybody can beat anything. Get God on your side and it's a whole lot easier. But that's all I got for you. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a great day. God bless you. And I'll be praying for you.